Boxing King Media, powered by BYD. Mr. Igor Klimas out here in Manchester, celebrating the success of the undisputed game. You're a fan of the game. You've got your fighter Alexander Usyk and Lomachenko in there as well. Are you surprised with the success the game's had so quickly in 1 week?
Well, I believe he's doing unbelievably job. It's amazing what Ash done with his game. Especially for the guy who never built a game. Google it and put it together. It's I think it's very big success for him, for his studio, and I'm hearing the millions of copies are sold, and they're doing very well. And today I had a chance to meet with all the guys who's working in a studio and making our fighters play in the game.
I could never imagine you playing the games. So does Igor Klimas sit there and play?
No, Egis Klimas don't play games. Egis Klimas is in real life.
You do the real life fighting, yeah?
I do a real life fighting, yes.
People are wondering, he's not joking either. But you've seen, obviously, Usyk's in the game, Loma's in the game. Are you happy with how realistic they look?
They look actually very realistic, Of course, it's next to impossible to do the movements what Loma does in the ring or Usyk does in the ring. That's a lot of work, but some of the movements are slower maybe or not as good as you can see in the real life, but it's still unbelievable.
It definitely is, Igor. I missed you at the press conference the other day, so I just wanted to speak to you about that. What did you make of the way it went? Alexander turning up as dressed as Hitman, and Tyson was wearing a suit with a middle finger on. What did you make of the way it all went?
Well, it's a press conference, and it's a hype. Alexander is always coming with his ideas. If you remember, he in one press conference for
Joker.
Yeah. He came as a Joker. Now for Joshua, now he came like a hitman, and I believe in the future we're going to see him again and something different.
What did you make of the message that he got up and got the poster, made Tyson sign it? So, was there a message behind that?
I don't think it's a message. He just the idea was he's helping a lot to his country, and he wanted to get the original pictures with original signatures, probably sell somewhere in the auction, and they send the money to his country.
Yeah, he told me that yesterday. It's for the Ukrainian soldiers. Want to ask you, because it got brought up yesterday about this broken jaw story again. I know Alexander told me yesterday he didn't break his jaw, but where did this story come from that he's broke his jaw and he was in a really bad position?
The story came. He had some fraction. I believe it came from his crown, and then I jumped in the ring. He told me first thing what he says, my face is hurting a little bit, and then we back to the dressing room. We thought maybe it's broken, but then we went to the hospital. First of all, we went to the press conference. He spoke, and if it was a jaw broken, he couldn't speak. But we spoke, and then we went to hospital. We did a MRI, and everything was okay.
And then I spoke to Alexander yesterday, but he said it might be better for you or Alex to explain the story at the airport recently, because he said somebody who's better English might be able to explain fully what happened. When he was accidentally or incidentally arrested, what actually happened? What was the story?
Him and his friend, we drove from Kiev to Krakow, to city in Poland, and because of the war zones, they had to make detours around it. So basically, this guy was driving a car for 14 hours. And then they dropped at the airport, went to check in, went through the security, and had half an hour or whatever before we board. So we both sit, and the guy fell asleep. And he started sleeping because he was so tired. So then they called the boarding time. Alexander got to his friend, boom, oh, let's go board. And he goes, yeah. And he goes back sleep again. So Alexander goes on the plane and waiting for his friend. And his friend is not coming, not coming. Then they're already closing the door. And he goes like, wait a second. I need to go to see my friend. And they said, if you're going to step out of the plane, you're not going to be able to come back. And he says, it's fine. I'm not flying without my friend. And then he came back at the check station. And they said, no, you go. Your friend cannot go. And he was like, why? They said, he's drunk. He said, drunk? He didn't drink. We went together. He's tired. And while they were talking about, the gate was closed. A plane took off. So now they said, because of a policy, airport policy, you don't have your boarding pass. You're not a passenger. You're right now a stranger at the airport, at the terminal. We have to escort you. And they called the police. And the police came and they kind of like looked, almost kind of like a joking, and said, oh, we're going to escort you. We have to handcuff you. And he was like, yes, please. And they hang him, he put the handcuffs and escorted him. And as soon as they hit the door, of course, they took handcuffs off, and it wasn't arrest. It was just kind of like, but some passengers saw it. They made the video, and all of a sudden it was a blowout. Alexander Usyk is arrested in Poland.
That's crazy. Nobody would even know that. Everyone assumed the worst.
Yeah. But what another thing, what is amazing, the whole country was behind it. The ambassador was in the 20 minutes. He was already at the airport, and the president of a country was calling to prime minister or whatever to Poland, like, what's going on? What's happening? But and the next morning, the chief of the police and the chief of the airport, everybody met Alexander already from outside, from a parking lot, escorted him straight to the plane. And they said, excuse me, sorry about that, and all stuff.
That's crazy, but it shows Alexander's loyalty to his friend that he missed the flight for his friend.
Oh yeah, of course. No, he's such a kind of guy,
And also, the news, you put a really nice tweet out the other day. Tyson Fury announced the sad loss of his, 6-month-old baby, which obviously was, I think, the build-up to the first fight. You put a message out, which was quite nice of you, because people kind of expect, because you and Tyson have had some back and forth before online, shows that, the real people behind what we see on camera.
No, look, this is a terrible thing. Terrible thing. I'm not going to name it, but I had that same experience, for one of my guys, and I know what they're going through, and that's terrible thing. It can happen in family, especially when she already was like 8 months or 6 months. Yeah, well, now it's of course. So it's still, and like Tyson said, he knew something wrong. He knew something happening. So he had that feeling, and still needs to go in the ring, still needs to concentrate, still needs to fight. That's why they're good fighters. That's why they're top quality fighters.
Definitely. So, want to get the latest from Lomachenko. We saw rumors that he may call an end to his career, but we've not heard nothing from him directly. The Gervonta Davis is still potentially looking for an opponent. That's the fight everyone wants. So, what is going on with Lomachenko?
He's right now back home, getting rest after the fight, but the time is coming. So basically, I think before New Year, or just like after New Year, he will have to make a decision what he wants to do.
And last question, Daniel Dubois, would you entertain a second fight with him if Usyk beats Fury?
Well, definitely. I don't think anybody else left in a heavyweight division. And right now, Daniel Dubois, he's a title holder. He's a IBF. A lot of people talking about the first fight, which is was a lot of people saying it wasn't a low blow, which was exactly 100% a low blow. And referee gave Usyk time, so he used the time. I believe every smart fighter, will be using the same thing. And there are some questions for a lot of people. And after Fury, for Alexander, will be a perfect fight with Daniel. then he can prove for sure how he can beat him, and to do a undisputed heavyweight too, second time. So it will be perfect match.
Will the other governing bodies allow the belts to still be held up in with Usyk for another undisputed fight?
Well, of course, because it's a unification. Even in the rules, I don't know who's going to be mandatory, but if we will do unification, I think everybody will allow to do that. And just for the history would be nice. Two-time beat Englishman Joshua, two-time beat Englishman Fury, and two-time to beat Englishman Dubois. That would be unbelievable. Nobody else did that before.
I'm sure the English fans would don't want to hear that, but yeah, Igor, thank you for your time. Anything else before I let you go?
No, we're good. We're good. I hope Undisputed will do very well. I wish them to in another week to sell another 1 million copies.